Clemson. At home, NC State coming to the crib, college game days there. There's a lot of excitement around there, a lot of buzz in the air. NC State was treating this like their Super Bowl. Clemson won this game 30-20. And truthfully, I don't know if the final score was even necessarily that close with the last score that NC State ended up getting, but some of my takeaways are more Clemson-based because I think that's the real storyline here. DJ Uiagalelei, yet again, found a way to get it done. A week ago against Wake Forest, he put up big numbers throwing the football. I think it was like 4 or 5 touchdowns. He was ACC Player of the Week honors. I mean, he did a lot through the air. This week, a much better defense against NC State. Much better unit than they were going to play last week. And DJ Uiagalelei just continued to give you more of what you need. Not necessarily everything that you want. He didn't light it up again this week with 500 yards and, 4 or 5 touchdown passes, but he gave you more of what you needed. Sufficient, 21 of 30, 209 yards and a touchdown. Did a lot with his legs. Right around 70 yards, picking up crucial first downs on the quarterback design runs. Did a lot in the read option game. He just gave you more of what you need from him. And he's not going to be Trevor Lawrence. He's not going to be Tajh Boyd. But we talked about it at the beginning of the year. If he can just be serviceable, if he can just keep from making the play that loses the game for Clemson, they're going to have a shot. And DJ Uiagalelei continues to do enough for Clemson and continues to allow them to win football games. The secondary was another thing that we're watching in this game. Because if you watched that game against Wake Forest, they just got abused. Like it was 50-50 ball after 50-50 ball. And I know it was young guys out there. I know they weren't full strength. But a lot of those same guys had to play last night against NC State. And credit to them, they got tested. Devin Leary had 47 attempts. You know what that means when a team just says, we're going to throw the ball at you 47 times? It means we think we can expose that, we think we can win there, and we're going to make you prove that you can defend that. And credit to NC State. They connected on a few of those punches. It wasn't like they were locked down all night on the back end, but credit to the Clemson secondary. They just took their lumps, took their punches, and the whole theme of this episode, the whole theme of this college football Saturday was survival. And that's exactly what happened for Clemson. Just survived, found a way to get an interception late, really flipped the game on its head. I was really impressed with what they did in that secondary. Also talking about that defense, that front seven was challenged. No Brian Brzee, no Xavier Thomas. They didn't have the depth that they really are accustomed to having. What did they do? Just found a way to answer. Stepped up to the challenge, got after Devin Leary, made him uncomfortable for the majority of the night. Clemson answered a lot of questions that I think we had going into this game. Going into this game, we thought, well, is it going to be a thing where the offense has to win games for them now? Can they play some sort of defense on the back end? Only allowed 20 points to one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I know that receiving core isn't going to be as scary as maybe Florida State's is going to be, but I was really impressed with what Clemson brought to the table. You're not spoiled offensively for Clemson, but you're no longer impoverished. And that was, I think, the big thing that we saw last night. The 50-50 ball was going for DJ. Can you rely on that going forward? I don't know, but Antonio Williams, the youngin' in the slot for them, could be the difference maker. You got all these big body guys with the tight ends and Ngata on the outside. You got guys that can go win those jump balls, but Antonio Williams needs to see more of the football going forward for them, because he can kind of be that change of pace, maybe that speedster that allows them to be a little more flexible in the pass game. But offensively, credit to Brandon Streeter, because the offense had so much criticism going into the year. DJ had so much criticism going into the year, and for them to be doing what they did last night just speaks volumes to how far they can go. So what are the big takeaways? If we're going to take a step back and look at Clemson, what can we look at in this game? Well, there was a point in this game where there were 7 minutes left, and Clemson was up, had the football, and I just asked myself, sitting by myself in my apartment, on my couch, just looking at my television screen, just asked, can Clemson finish this game? They got them on the ropes, and we're so accustomed to Clemson just sort of hanging on, just finding a way to get it done at the very end. Can they assert their will and finish this game? All they did, go down the field. DJ Uiagalelei gets in the end zone for the second time that night. They finished that game. They're starting to go on offense as a program and not just survive on their talent. So what this tells me as a whole is the formula at Clemson works. They're not going to see a better defense the rest of the way. Notre Dame is going to be solid. Maybe you say Florida State's going to be solid, but I really think from just a experience and a talent standpoint, that NC State defense will be the best test for Clemson going forward. So they still got to bring it each Saturday, but they've proven they can do it. Brandon Streeter has proven he can do it. Wes Goodwin has proven as the defensive coordinator for Clemson, they can do it. They got to do it every Saturday, but credit Dabo Swinney. Regardless of what they do from a wins and losses standpoint, I think you have the right guys calling your units. You got the right guy at quarterback. So Clemson's putting everybody on notice, getting a huge win against a top 10 NC State team at home. Clemson just continuing to ride the Roy bus. They're going to be a problem here late in the year. But again, Clemson wins that game 30-20. They're going to have a chance now. They have put themselves in position to have a very legitimate chance to run the ACC and then find themselves in the college football playoff. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.